Hello, I'm Martine Dennis.
And I'm Tanya Beckett.
This is the news from BBC World. Court order Australia to accept 400 asylum seekers it forcibly rejected. Eurotunnel takes France to court over the Songat refugee camp. Mystery surrounds the fate of the Afghan opposition leader Ahmed Shah Massoud.
And in business, world car makers converge on the Frankfurt Motor Show as they struggle to fight off an industry slowdown.
A very warm welcome to BBC World News for the latest international news, business and sport. An Australian federal court judge has ruled that more than 400 mainly Afghan asylum seekers being taken by the Navy to Papua New Guinea should be released onto the Australian mainland. They'd been refused permission by the government to land in Australian territory to apply for asylum.
The applicants argued that the rescuees were held in detention by the respondents on board the MV Tampa, and as the respondents had no authority to detain them, the court should order that they be released from detention.
Go back to the negotiating table.
Gideon Meir, the Israeli government spokesman, thanks very much indeed. Tanya's here now with the business news. Tanya.
Martin, yes, the great and good of the world car industry are at the Frankfurt Motor Show. They're hoping to reverse the effects of the slowdown affecting the industry and are spending millions of dollars on a series of important product launches. And we'll be hearing from the head of Ford Europe, who's in Frankfurt in about 20 minutes' time. Meanwhile, London's blue chip index will decide today which poor-performing companies will be ejected from its ranks. The quarterly reshuffle of the index will also see some star performers admitted to the FTSE 100. The final decision is based on closing prices at a time when stocks are suffering substantial losses. Let's take a look at how we stand on the Asian markets then as we come up to the close. Up 73 for the Nikkei in Tokyo and the Hang Seng down just about 40 points. If we take a look at where that came from, this is a bit of stability in New York we saw after US officials painting a more upbeat picture of the US economy. And if we turn on to the European markets, you can see it didn't fully follow through to the European markets, but there's time on Tuesday to see if it does, and also the currency markets. A bit of dollar strength on the back of those equities moving north. More in World Business Report in about 20 minutes' time. Back now to Martine.
Tanya, thanks very much indeed. Norway's Labour government has suffered its worst election in almost a century, leaving the Prime Minister, Jens Stoltenberg, little chance of holding on to power. With most of the votes counted, Labour picked up 24% of the votes. The opposition Conservatives they gained have been forced to flee their homes. You're watching BBC World News. Coming up, the latest international business and sport. Plus, the Netherlands leads the way in the fight against foot and mouth disease. That's after this short break. Welcome back. A reminder of the main news headline. A court orders Australia to accept 400 asylum seekers it forcibly rejected. And in business news, the world's leading car makers gather at the Frankfurt Motor Show, hoping to reverse the slowdown affecting the industry. In a few hours' time, a French court will be asked to shut down a refugee reception centre that's the source of growing friction between Britain and France. Eurotunnel, the operator of the Channel Tunnel, are calling for the camp at Songat, near Calais, to be closed. The centre has become the base for nightly attempts by asylum seekers to gain illegal entry into Britain.
They keep on coming from Songat camp, the final leg of an epic journey before them, the perilous trip through the Channel Tunnel to Britain. But Eurotunnel hopes today that a French court will decide in its favour and close Songat. Eurotunnel spent millions on security, but says...
Sport now, and Dominic Cotton. Dominic.
Thanks very much. Coming up on sport today, the Champions League is back. Roma start by hosting last year's runners-up Real Madrid at the Olympic Stadium. There's a surprise first-round exit for Germany's Nicholas Kiefer at the President's Cup in Uzbekistan. And the Giants go down in Denver. The NFL season starts with defeat for last year's Super Bowl's runners-up. These and the rest of the day's sports stories are coming up in 20 minutes in Sport Today here on BBC World. Martine.
Thanks very much, Dominic. So, to a reminder of the international news again, the Australian Federal Court judge who was determining the case regarding Afghan refugees in Melbourne has ruled that those Afghan asylum seekers being taken away at the moment by the Navy to Papua New Guinea, they should be released onto the Australian mainland. They had been refused permission by the government to land in Australian territory to apply for asylum. The government says it will appeal. And there's still confusion over the fate of the Afghan opposition leader Ahmed Shah Massoud following an attack on Sunday, with strong indications that he's dead. And that's all from me, Martine Dennis, in the BBC World Newsroom for now.